Hello there. Are you tired of hearing about Crime and Punishment yet? Well, too bad, because I'm not done. Hi, I'm a Logo Hippie, and today, we're gonna be talking about parts 3 and 4 of Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. And I've been reading out of both of these. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. Hold on. Editions. This one, because I have the audiobook in this translation by Richard Prevere and Larissa Volokhonsky, and this translation is by David Macduff, but this just so happens to be the copy that I began physically reading out of, hence all the tabs. And the tabs that I have up here. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have used several of what I decided to call buy days. And by the term buy days, I mean days where I don't have to read the book, of which I had 7 when I started the book, because I siphoned everything out, or the page count of how much I should read a day out, so that I could finish the book by December 31st. But because the way the book is structured, I couldn't really read. It would have had me stopping in the middle of chapters, which is not cool. I explained that before. So it ended up being 24 days instead of 31. And I had a few buy days, and you're like, that's not 7. No, but then I read a few days ahead. So I read a few days worth of pages. And so therefore it gave me extra days, and I've been using a lot of them just because I've been wanting to take my read very slow with this, because I'm enjoying it so much. This is my new favorite book of all time, and I just want to spend as much time with it as possible. I think this is the longest I've ever spent with a book outside of the Bible. So yeah, it's 10. I've finished 10 days worth of reading, and that has gotten me to about 350 pages. Yeah, a little over 350 pages. Feeling pretty good. Probably still gonna finish this book by December 31st. But we're here to talk about parts 3 and 4. Like I said, I'm gonna do 3 of these commentary videos and break down, or just give my little summary on each pair of parts. So in parts 3 and 4, we are introduced to Raskolnikov's extended family. We're formally introduced to his sister and to his mother. We get to know them. There are a lot of conversations held with them, and then we get a little bit more insight into Raskolnikov's relationship with them, but also their relationships with each other, and also his relationship with really his only friend with the family. And it's really nice because each person has a different personality, and it was really, really nice to me because it came naturally to me figuring out the personalities of each type, and it feels really good to get into part 3 and have that be validated, have those hunches be validated by Dostoevsky's writing and his diving deeper into these characters, especially like Raskolnikov's mother. She's very naive and very sweet, and I guess that from the beginning, just off of the letter that she wrote him in part 1, where we met her. So, and his sister Dunya, she has a lot of fire and a lot of spirit, and it's really nice, and she's not afraid to stand up to Raskolnikov, where his mother is a little bit more shy, a little bit more withdrawn, a little bit more timid about, she doesn't really want to set Raskolnikov off, and it's really, really nice. And then we get a lot of like Raskolnikov's personality. We get a lot of this back and forth him dealing with the crime and the repercussions of committing that crime. And, you know, we meet some other characters, some periphery characters that are really interesting. And like with a lot of Russian literature, there are a lot of characters, and sometimes I find myself being like, whoa, who is this? And then I have to think back to parts 1 and parts 2 and kind of remember who these people are, and then I'm like, oh, it's that person. So it's been really fun. I am on part 4 now, about to be finished with it pretty soon. And then just so that I can have a little bit more, like, that's a little less vague but also not spoilery to talk about, I will come back and, well, before I come back, I will read summaries of parts 3 and 4 so that I can kind of and maybe sharing a few of the things that I highlighted, underlined, and thought that were really, I don't know, insightful, either into the story or into Raskolnikov's character, or just interesting. I'm gonna give you a little bit of an update on my tabbing system. I did add utilitarianism, I did add nihilism, and I'm also gonna be adding in rationalism, which I have to do a little bit more research on so I can know what I'm looking for when I go to find it. So so I don't have any more like big tabs that I can like use a color for. So for rationalism, I think I'm gonna use one of these little teeny ones, because obviously I don't have any more postage stamps. And then also these bigger ones, these little blank ones right here, I'm kind of running out of colors as well, so I'm gonna stick with these. So yeah, and then I plan to, once I'm done with reading the David Macduff translation, which is this one, I'm going to go through and I may make a whole video of me annotating this copy, because this is the copy that I will read from now on. I'm sorry to say I will never be picking up the David Macduff translation ever again to read. I just don't like it. I like this one so much more. And so be on the lookout for that video in the new year. So we're back in the foyer of my job, because I kind of don't want to wait until I get home to end this video, because I want to start reading part 5. But I also don't want to start reading part 5 having not closed out this video with parts 3 and 4 fresh in my mind. So basically I went through everything that happens in part 3, and then part 4 is very heavy. We're dealing with some of the ramifications of Raskolnikov having committed the crime. We have people that are okay, so first and foremost, we have some of those mental ramifications of like him dreaming, having nightmares and such. We have him being very antisocial, wanting to be away because he's kind of carried away in his thoughts about the crime. He's between whether he wants to give himself away, as in give himself to the police, and so he's having a lot of turmoil basically. And I think that's a part of his punishment, is his conscience just totally just beating at him as he navigates life post committing such a heinous crime. And then we get more interaction between Raskolnikov and the lead detective that is on his case, or on the case of the crime, which has been really, really cool. They have some really good conversations, and I love that Dostoevsky, he explores the plot through conversation between characters, because if you've seen video number 1, I spoke about in part 2 how the crime was dove into through character conversation from the perspective of a very intelligent character who was just basically guesstimating what happened, and it was spot on. Same thing happening here between Raskolnikov and the lead detective. The lead detective is like spot on, but he doesn't have physical evidence to really link Raskolnikov to the crime, so it's very interesting. This book is like amazing, and you know is crazy because this is literally the only book I've been reading consistently this month. I did start Game of Thrones and I did start Kingdom of Ash, but I totally disregarded those just to give myself a better chance of understanding and absorbing Crime and Punishment. It's that good and it's that profound, and I'm just thinking of new tabs every single day. And so before I let you go, I did add one more tab to my repertoire of tabs, and it's going to be a tab on religion, because Dostoevsky talks a lot about religion in his works. Crime and Punishment is no different. So with that, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna start reading parts 5 and 6 so that I can film a commentary for those two. And then I'm probably gonna have an overview video as my wrap up at the end of the month. So that'll be coming too. But until then, I'll see you when I see you. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a good evening. And most importantly, I hope you read a good book. A book as good as Crime and Punishment, but not likely. But I'll see you when I see you. Bye.